and I'm not going to point fingers, I'm not going to say who, but somebody was the last person to edit that video and put in some numbers at the end. That video has been used by
Russian propaganda.
Russian propaganda, super right-wingers to talk about the feminization of the Western male.
Part of me was like, oh, this is the last time I'm gonna do this before everybody in this audience is like,
I'll look at you differently.
yeah.
They also assumed that Zach would have left if Ned stayed. Hi guys, I'm Olivia Sway.
Hi.
You guys might know me from Smosh.
What are we doing today?
We're
What's
doing
happening?
assumptions that people have, assumed on the internet.
Okay.
I'm so glad I'm not in your position
Yeah,
and I'm just hosting.
Yeah, I feel like a anxious and self-hating person, and so these assumptions could push me over the edge.
Self-hating?
Yeah. You
Hate?
well.
Self-hate?
Okay, self-critic.
Disappoint.
These are your assumptions.
Yes, assumptions.
Also, I think this is something that I'd like to share is that when I first started working at Smosh, like my first year, I was watching a lot of you guys on BuzzFeed.
Did you like it?
I don't remember it because the first year at Smosh was sort of a blur, but I remember enjoying seeing you guys.
So I used to watch a lot of you guys many, many years ago. I have no recollection of it, and I can't say whether it was good or not, but I did stop watching.
Thank you. Do you guys want to get to it?
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right. People assume that you guys aren't really friends behind the scenes.
Uh-oh. Do you suppose they're right?
I don't think so. I think we are friends behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But then it's also, we see, so I talk to Keith more than I talk to almost anyone in the world. We are texting all day, every day.
Sent me a 3-minute voice text today.
Yeah.
And then was like, that's too long. I'll just talk to you.
What was it about?
Something crazy. We can't talk about
What
it
the
here.
heck, guys?
It was just, it's impossible to explain. It was 3 minutes long. It's impossible to explain.
I will say, because we hang out so much with work, I'd say over the last year, maybe, well, I guess also you have a kid now, but we don't hang out we don't get like dinner on the weekend as much as we used to. But I think that's also because we have such a intense relationship that we need to intentionally carve out room for other friendships. Like if all my hangouts were with him, then I would literally see no one else.
We're absolutely friends behind the scenes, but there's not that much behind the scenes life that we live. Like in terms of like almost all of our life is related to work. Even if we were to hang out completely unrelated to work, there's no way we wouldn't talk about something related to work because the Venn diagram of our work and life is just almost a circle.
We get dinners.
We get dinners, but we don't talk about anything related to work, and that's no, not a chance.
But we do hang out.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we carpool
Were you
today.
guys friends before?
Oh, I didn't know him before.
We were friends at BuzzFeed. I think that, yeah, because you threw cool parties back 10 years ago.
I'm a party guy.
And
How's that for an assumption that you didn't have? I'm the party guy.
well, not anymore.
Well, this actually is a good segue to the next assumption.
I assume you guys are both dork-ass losers.
You're locked into a good guy image / persona.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That you guys are like good guys,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Fuck you.
Why are you directing this towards me? It's what other people
You want me to be a
assume.
bad guy? Yeah, I can be a bad guy.
Yeah, this is interesting. Assume we're locked in to being good.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I mean, I think that people think we are like forced to be good role models and can't be anything else. Why would I not want to be anything? That's good. I like that.
Is the assumption that we are performative in our goodness?
Maybe that maybe we.
I don't know what goodness I'm doing, but
I think maybe you guys are just positive and happy and like.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Zach has a weed talk show now, so he gets high on the internet.
So I'm a bad boy, actually.
YouTube doesn't like that.
Yeah, actually, I'm a bad boy.
Yeah, he's a
This
bad
is the
boy.
thing that people don't realize about me. And so I'm glad that we're squashing this assumption.
What's a bad thing that you guys recently tried or
I keep
did?
trying to convince people to just throw away their jury summons and pretend they didn't get it.
Is that illegal?
Yes.
But if you didn't see it, then no.
I don't think me coercing them to do that is legal, but them doing it is illegal. However, if they never got it in the mail, that's not illegal.
Who are you telling? Like, are you just anyone you see on the street, like, hey?
I guess I'm telling the viewers right now.
Oh.
I just think that the jury system should pay people the federal minimum wage.
Yeah.
And then no one would have a problem with it.
People may think you guys are betas because you guys took testosterone tests and scored low on the T.
I'll have those people taking testosterone tests. I didn't study. They might be right. What does that even mean? A beta male. I mean, we own the company.
Not beta.
Not beta.
So dumb.
So
No,
super
wrong
alpha.
opposite of beta
and
is not dumb.
We're very dumb.
Is this where I say that I saw a video recently where you said that the two of us were not daddy? And I'm just going to say on the record, you're not daddy either.
I think I am. I'm pretty daddy.
Well, I'm going to say I don't think you are.
Oh my God. No, I am daddy.
No. I think we got 3 baby girls in the room.
Oh, you guys are such baby girls.
We're baby girls. You did say my hands were soft when you shook them.
Baby girl.
Here's the thing that happened. We measured our sperm count and testosterone levels. And this was back when we were at BuzzFeed. We had no one. We were the only people checking our work. And I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to say who. But somebody was the last person to edit that video and put in some numbers at the end and then hit publish at 1 in the morning. And as a result, that now is the record forever. And that video has been used by like
Russian propaganda.
Russian propaganda, super right-wingers to talk about the demasculization, the effeminization of the Western male. So we're kind of poster boys for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool.
So are we betas? I've certainly always resented traditional masculinity. From a young age, I felt at odds with it. So I am what I am, and I'm happy with it.
I don't care. I think people who are obsessed with that are probably the true betas.
Agree.
What's the C of the
Cuck. Isn't that
alpha beta cuck?
Isn't that the...
I think so.
All right, now we're moving on to the scandal.
What's that?
What's that?
I don't know. I don't even know you guys.
I haven't watched you in 8 years.
I haven't
Where's
got
Fred?
Oh, it's the serious part. Sorry.
the serious part, guys. People assume that you guys feel guilty for not seeing the scandal coming.
Oh.
That's an interesting assumption. I don't feel guilty because that would mean I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong. In fact, as soon as we did know something was wrong, I think we immediately did everything we could to do the right things. Something was being hidden from us, right? So it was hidden. So that we didn't know about it. That's how hidden works. Eventually, it was not hidden well enough, and we found out, and we did what we did.
Yeah, I have no feelings of guilt associated with it. I feel pride in how we navigated a very unfortunate situation, something that was out of our control, but that we did the best to navigate for us, for our staff, and for everyone who cares about the Try Guys.
Yeah, I felt bad. I just felt bad.
Felt bad.
That I felt bad for myself.
The whole thing was a bad feeling thing.
But I also really felt bad for our staff and our staff's family and friends because people were asking them what was going on. They had this sense of like job insecurity. It gave them stress. They didn't deserve any of that stress. I can take that stress related to something that I've built and the choices that I've made and the people I've surrounded myself with, and one of those people does something wrong. That's stress that I should deal with. But other people shouldn't have had to deal with the stress the way they did. Other people shouldn't have gotten calls from their family member asking about that.
They also assume that because of the scandal, it influenced Eugene to leave.
It's actually the opposite. I think 2 years ago, right before this all happened, we were trying to look for ways to like let Eugene finally work on these projects he hadn't been able to work on because of his commitment to helping us build this business. He's had these movie scripts and TV scripts and book ideas and pitches for some of them before we met him, but he did not have the power or means or connections to be able to make those things. Well, he was entering into the realm of being able to make those things, but his obligations to us and his time weren't allowing that. So we were like, okay, I think maybe at the end of 2022, like that is the time where we will help you be able to step away from the Try Guys to make those things. And unfortunately, in late 2022, someone else stepped away. And if he were to step away at that time, it would have been really bad. Optically, it would have been really hard for us to manage
I think
without him.
Yeah, he felt a sense of responsibility to help us and the whole team kind of right that ship. So it actually kept him longer.
He actually like reinvested in because he was like, well, I need to be here to help us deal with this because this is an all man on deck. Everybody's got to come in and help figure this out. And there's the creative and success of the YouTube channel and the company, but there's also the new stress of there were lawyers, and it was a thing that none of us had dealt with before. And it was a amount of eyeballs on us that none of us had dealt with before. We were made fun of on SNL, on the opener of sketch of SNL. Like that is like a lot of attention that I didn't think people cared enough about us for us to get that kind of attention. So that was like, he came in, and then near the end of 2023, we're like, okay, let's get back on this ability for you to go do those creative things again. We have got us back into shape. We have this new idea for this streaming platform. I think if you can help us carry to there, we can put your leaving around that same time because we are making a new version of the company. And he is still a part of our company. He's still an owner. He's still creatively contributes to us. Zach and I still talk to him about things we're doing. He still wants to find things for him to come in and do. He's just not in every video anymore. And that's not part of his job or our expectations of him.
They also assumed that Zach would have left if Ned stayed.
Who knows what would have happened? I mean, it's definitely like, I think there were creative disagreements on what to do with this company.
Yeah, I don't know that it has anything to do with one person. The Try Guys was getting to a place where I guess I felt I couldn't creatively contribute as much as I would have liked, that it was a little restricted into being only one thing. So I don't think it has anything to do with one person, but certainly by necessity, we were forced to imagine the Try Guys in a million and one new ways. We had to reinvent ourselves. I don't think I would have left, but I probably would have been... I think I would have been spending a lot more time on personal passion projects.
Something else at the same time.
All right, this is the last question on the scandal. Did you guys see it coming?
No. I wish I did. It would have saved us all a lot of stress and strife.
I didn't see it happening at all, just like anyone else did.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising in every way.
It also like the way it happened was like very tough because we were like had been traveling and we were all displaced. So like Zach and I weren't together. Like I was on tour at the time and I was doing shows as I was finding out about it. So I had this very like difficult, just personal experience of like.
I remember calling you. You were at a Ren fair in
Minnesota.
You know? Like, hey man, do you mind stepping aside somewhere that's quiet?
And so I'm just like outside of I'm not actually in the Ren fair. I'm like outside in like the parking grounds, and I'm just sort of like crying on the phone. And then I'm like, I got to do a show tonight, and like I have to not tell the other guys I'm touring with what's going on because I'm like, they can't help right now. This is too overwhelming. I don't even know legally who can know about this right now. And then I'm performing, and I'm like performing to an audience that obviously knows the Try Guys. I'm like, these guys don't know anything. And it was like a really surreal week of doing fun things. And for part of me, it was like, oh, this is the last time I'm going to do this before everybody in this audience is like...
I'll look at you differently.
Yeah.
People assume that you guys love that your core audience are women.
I love our audience.
Yeah.
It's more split than it used to be. When we first started, it was like 80% female, and that's grown closer.
And now it's like 76%.
Yeah.
And are they buying your hot sauce?
Yeah, people buy hot sauce. I don't get the demographic info of who buys hot sauce because it doesn't matter to me. But I think just because our audience skews more female, that there are more female purchasers of the hot sauce.
Our audience is great because I think we try and make stuff for people that aren't having things made for them elsewhere. And our audience has been so giving and allowing us to do so many different things over the years. We have went on crazy tours and made different specialty projects. Launching Second Try was a crazy thing that our audience has supported. We have our big 10-year anniversary live special coming up. All of those special events only exist with an audience like the one we have.
There's another assumption. The name that you guys inherited from BuzzFeed, Try Guys, limits what you guys make.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all.
First of all, we didn't inherit it. We paid good money for it.
Yeah.
But I could see how it's limiting because the name Guys, I don't know, it's such a catch-all.
It used to maybe limit us because we used to only make that show, but we make like 10 other shows right now. In fact, Without a Recipe is more popular than the Try Guys. Eat the Menu is more popular than the Try Guys. And then we have a lot of other shows on our streamer, Second Try, that are more successful than the Try Guys. But like we make lots of different things that I wouldn't describe as the Try Guys, although the Try Guys produces those things. And now we're making new shows that don't involve us at all, that are stories that we can't tell, so other people are telling them, or we're just sort of helping them produce those stories.
From the beginning, the Try Guys as a format from the beginning always changed because we were trying things. So each episode would honestly take a different editing style, a different genre motifs. And so I think we trained our audience from the beginning to always expect different things, and that allowed us over time to naturally find new formats, different things. It's been very giving. The Try Guys as a format has allowed us to do so many things within it, which is honestly why we're still having fun doing it. It's continuously evolved. It's never stopped evolving, and I don't think it will ever stay the one thing.
Yeah, and earlier you said that you guys paid good money for it.
Oh, yeah.
Which people assume that there was a huge legal battle between you guys and BuzzFeed trying to retain the name.
No, I have to give BuzzFeed a lot of credit. It is unprecedented what they did and has not been done again since. When you work at a company, you create IP under that company. They own it. You're an employee. They absolutely did not have to give us an avenue for us to continue making the Try Guys. That was far from a given. And so we're very grateful for how we were able to navigate that and to continue running with what we built. We had obviously a great 4 years at BuzzFeed. We've had an even better time taking it and running with it ever since.
I think in some ways they were like, it would have just been IP that died if they didn't let us continue it, because it was only us making it. We were the only people who produced it, who edited it. It was sort of like locked in our brains, and we would have made something very similar with a different name, and then it would have like had a soured relationship and taste. And I think the internet would have not liked BuzzFeed even more for that. So I think it was the right decision for all parties, and I think it's been good for all parties because they did create the Try Guys. They could say like, look at that other brand that's doing cool stuff. That started here, and that's it. That's good. It's like an SNL sort of thing.
It allows us to also look back at that time really fondly, right? Like
that time was awesome.
It was
the
great.
first 2 years there were kind of unbelievable. Who was there, what we were able to make, the experimentation, the fun of it. We were in this big open floor plan office, so you just saw everyone's faces. Everyone was constantly like making cool stuff.
Learning so quickly and sharing knowledge and growing off each other and seeing, oh, Keith made this cool thing, I'm gonna do it better. And then we traded back and forth, and it was it felt like a grad school that they paid us to attend.
Yeah.
This is just my question, not on this. How did you guys get your jobs at BuzzFeed? Like, was there an audition process?
I had moved to LA. I lived in Chicago, and I had started doing like YouTube stuff on my own, but I had no formal film school education. I just was an improviser, theater kid, and I had a half of a major finished of playing the French horn. So I was like learning skills. We moved out here, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was looking for jobs, honestly, at like post houses, but I didn't, again, have any collegiate relationships in the industry, which is very necessary. So I like cold applied to a lot of places, and nothing happened, and I even saw BuzzFeed had an open application, and I was like, nah, I don't think I want to work there. And then eventually, a few months after that, still had no options. So I was like, well, let me apply there, and maybe it will be somewhere I can learn some more education to continue making YouTube on my own. And when I applied and then interviewed, and I just lucked out that the equipment they were using specifically was the only equipment I knew how to use at the time. I only knew how to use a Canon 60D. I only knew how to use an ARRI light kit, and I only knew how to use a Zoom H4n. I only knew the cheapest equipment that I could afford was also what they were using. So when I interviewed, I was like, I know how to use only that. And then I was able to learn all those other skills and found that it was a good place to keep learning and being, and the environment was cool. There were all these other impressive people. So I stayed there. But I started as an intern, so I thought I'd be there for 3 months.
Keith came from the performance side. I came from the film production side. I was working freelance in production and then kind of failing to direct, which is what I wanted to do, but it was hard to find. A friend of mine, Ella Milashenko, she was the first intern at BuzzFeed, and basically beat me down over the course of a year and a half and said, you should come work here, you should come work here. She got me to direct a one-off sketch starring Jerry from Parks and Rec. And I just, being there, when you walked into the room, you felt this infectious energy. Everyone was so young and experimenting and with drugs. Everyone was doing drugs. No, everyone was experimenting with how to make videos. And I also didn't think that I would like the job, but I figure I'll go here for 3 months. I'll build my reel a little bit and move on. And week 1, I was hooked. The opportunity was infectious. And then also to be in your early 20s, make something and have it suddenly seen by 1 million people is crazy. It is so unbelievably exciting. And so I think we all quickly saw the opportunity. Oh, this is a place where I can sort of do whatever the fuck I want and reach lots and lots of people.
It's so cool that you guys are so creative, yet now you guys are businessmen, and people assume that you guys didn't want to be businessmen or that you guys don't want to be that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I don't know if we don't want to be that, but we didn't. I just didn't think I'd be good at that or that I would want that for myself. I still think probably I'd be most happy if I could only do the performance and creative side of things, but that's just not how life is. You've got to have some parts of your work that are work, even if you love everything that you do. Like, there's always going to be stuff that's work.
I was only interested in the creative for the longest time. Over the last couple of years, we've stepped more into a more traditional CEO role. I don't know why I'm putting that in air quotes. No. Over the last couple of years, we became the direct CEOs and we surprised ourselves with the aptitude we have for that. Mm-hmm. To me, being the leader of a company is all about telling everyone what direction are we rowing the boat, and then finding the best people to be each part of the ship. The metaphor is falling apart. Stay with me. So it's about leadership. I actually see it not super dissimilar from directing. Mm-hmm. It's just directing lots and lots and lots of things all at once. Art and commerce have always been inextricably combined. We have the myth and the dream of the artist who's just making for themselves, but we work with a lot of people. Art has always required some form of commerce, even if it's just patronage. Monet painted the water lilies, but it's because he had some rich dude who said, go hang out in my backyard and paint these forever and ever. I'll pay you to do it. So some way, somehow, you have to figure out a way to financially support the art you're making. And so we're just trying to figure out the best way to do it.
And additionally, how do you build a business that doesn't rely on you and one other person being the only faces of the 100 to 150 pieces of content that you're making? So, like, how do we build out a cast? How do we empower other people to tell their stories? But also how do I carve out more time in my life to have a family and have that balance? Because the internet, social media doesn't really love balance. Because you kind of have to be always making lots and lots of stuff. So how do we build our company to provide the amount of stuff that people need from our company, but not necessarily have it come directly from one or two personalities?
People also assume that you guys regret launching Second Try.
Oh, no. Oh, they're so wrong.
Yeah,
it's the best decision we've ever made.
It's been good for many reasons, but I think for me the most important is that it has unified our company to put all of our focus towards something positive, especially because we had something negative that was crowding all of our thoughts for 2 years before that. So it's great for all of our work to be aligned toward a new thing. We're all building a new thing together. It's almost like, 5 or 6 years into our company, we became a startup again to make something new. And rather than a lot of people came into something that was already established, the 10-year, Try Guys is 10 years old, they came in to establish something new together. I don't know, it just gave us a really beautiful focus to work together and figure out something that none of us had done before.
I can talk to you for the rest of the video about why it was a great idea. There's width and there's depth. When you're on YouTube, your job is to capture width. How do you make a thumbnail and a title that reaches as many people as possible? You want to get them to click. Bonus points if they stick around and actually care. But the thing that we all in this room creatively care about is depth. How do I make something that means something to the person on the other side of the screen? And we all know that a depth connection means more over time. It's hopefully the reason why people still give a shit about us 10 years later. So there's this tension. The things that your audience really cares about, the things that we really creatively care about, are not always the things that get clicked as widely, or that the algorithm says this is what we want to do right now. And so by having Second Try, we get to focus on that depth. We get to say that instead of focusing on millions of you, we're going to focus on the thousands of you, the hundreds of thousands of you. We're going to try and target the people that really f with us. And it's not to say we're going to ignore everyone else, but we get to create that stronger connection and put that above trying to reach as many people as possible. And so Second Try has allowed us to make, I think, our best stuff ever. If you look at what we're making now versus what we were making 3-4 years ago, I think we are in such a better place. We are so much happier. Like, this is the most fun that I've had in the Try Guys since probably when we started. It was not a sure thing that the Try Guys was built to last another 5 years, another 10 years, maybe not even another 2 years. And now I am all in. I am so invigorated. The team is so invigorated, and hopefully the audience is invigorated. I'm telling you, if you're like Olivia and you haven't watched us and you assume that we're washed up, now's the time to get back in.
I have never said that.
If you think that we're all, worthless like Olivia, then, change your mind, because we got some cool stuff going on here, and Olivia doesn't know about it, but...
Olivia doesn't know, but the shows that we're making now are just so fun.
We're going to get on to the silly part now, okay? We're going to get through these real fast.
You know,
I need to know.
Seats?
People assume that they'll never try guys.
Like sexually?
them? Like sexually?
Taste them.
Whoa.
Olivia,
I've kissed
please.
a lot of guys.
Keith has kissed a lot of dudes.
I think,
But that's not trying. That's sampling.
No, it's sampling.
That's
It's
an
like
aperitif.
it's like being at a cocktail party and they bring by a tiny little tuna poke cone.
And I wouldn't say
Have y'all kissed? People assume that you guys have kissed.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's a romantic kiss. It's a performance kiss.
It's a gag, but I try to take the gag kisses like seriously. I think that if you're gonna do a gag kiss, it has to be a real kiss. Like I think doing that. We're beyond that.
He wants it tender.
I want it to be real.
I was surprised when I kissed him the scruff. I went, oh, that's new.
You have scruff too.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but I've never felt it on my face. I've never felt someone's scruff on my face. And the more direct answer is that we're in happy relationships. So I don't imagine I'll be trying guys, other than also the reason that I'm not as interested in it.
They also want you guys to try ketamine.
We were just talking
to someone
about that
way.
yesterday.
Yeah, it scares me. I tend to like things that are associative as opposed to disassociative. But I know ketamine is used a lot in therapy for chronic pain, which I have, for PTSD as well. So really interesting uses of ketamine. Someone was describing it to us as being in several elevator floors of reality simultaneously, and that was interesting to me.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I don't know much about it, to be honest. That's one I haven't researched, but...
So we've done a bunch of content about cannabis, and that is one, because it's fun and we like it, but also to help destigmatize it. If people are going to be getting wasted and drinking alcohol, which I think is far more damaging, why are we not showing cannabis in a healthy light? I'm also interested in mushrooms. I think psilocybin taken in a responsible dose is cool and fun and has helped me. I'm all for these things in moderate doses in safe, happy environments.
I wish there was just more education on how to do those sorts of things safely and to better understand them, because...
There's also this grouping of all drugs in a way that I think is actually very damaging, because psilocybin and weed are not the same as cocaine and heroin. And cocaine and heroin are different too.
Yeah.
But I think it is actually important to have education as opposed to just an abstinence-only approach, because in the absence of information, then people make bad decisions.
Yeah, if you tell a teenager that weed is as bad as cocaine, and they eventually try weed, and they're like, hey, that's not so bad.
And speaking of putting things in your body, why doesn't the bigger try guy just eat the little try guy and assert his dominance?
Yeah, I've tried.
Slippery.
And also it doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. Or the good flavor of something that's not nutritious in the unhealthy way. He's not nutritious in any, and not delicious.
Also, if he ate me, then he'd have to do more work.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do tier list now. You guys are tier listing all the things that you guys have tried. All right?
Yes.
S being the most intense.
Okay.
F being the least intense. And these are all things that you guys have tried. Bone cracking.
C.
Firefighting.
B. A. Yeah,
A.
they're heavy.
Yeah, and parts of firefighting, S.
Wearing corsets for 72 hours.
I was on vacation that day.
C.
Sleep-deprived driving.
Ooh, B.
B.
It's the actual doing is hard. The actual filming on ourselves was fun.
Was fun. Staying up was hard.
Acupuncture.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like a C or a D, but for you, it's like not.
I do that for funsies.
Labor pain.
Oh,
S.
that's S. Yeah, that can be real S.
Grossest alcohols.
Oh.
See, that's another day walk in the
F.
park.
F. That's nothing.
Okay, let's go D.
D.
D. Hey, drinking something gross is like, okay,
Yeah,
get over
I
it.
guess that's right. They could be. There are worse things.
Okay, what about Brazilian waxes?
I kind of liked it.
I liked after it was done. Didn't like it during it.
The feeling of warm goo in and around crevices, I thought was
It wasn't my favorite.
kind of cool.
Okay.
I like the smoothness. What would you say then?
But afterwards, though, I didn't like it because
I like the others.
no. Okay, this is
Hair grows back.
When you fart, it feels different
It did.
because the hairs that are normally like the vibration is different now
It was very. That was very different.
because the things are gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
so. I'm gonna we'll say C.
C.
Okay, fire cupping.
Oh, again F. I loved it. I do fire cupping for chronic pain treatment. I think it's awesome.
I would say D, but in comparison to everything else, then yeah, sure it's F probably.
What about getting your muscles destroyed?
Ooh, so that was bringing back one of our favorite guests. She did Dr. Trumpy did our labor pain simulator and basically came in and said, we're gonna f you up. That was, I mean, it might be an S.
Mine was S. I was like almost going into shock how much it hurt.
Yeah,
my
you were
God.
shaking. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have been through a lot. You guys have tried so many different.
I also thought it was fun though. I kind of like the pain.
Yeah, but you like when you're in control of the pain because there's a lot of pain you're not.
The pain distracts from the pain.
Yeah.
Last one. Crashing into each other.
Oh, when we
Demolition
did Demo Derby. That was an A.
Yeah, it was an A.
It was thrilling to do, but I did have a real bad crook in my neck.
The next day I was like I was in a car wreck. It's like, yeah, I was in a lot of little ones.
Okay, what about this? This experience we just had.
This is pretty brutal.
B.
Wow, you guys both agreed on the same letter.
Well, we're very good friends.
Yeah. From B to shining B.
Thank you guys for chatting with me.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. And this being our first time ever hanging out in a meeting, I think we
It was nice. Stop it.
second hang,
I think it's
Okay.
okay. What are we doing?
Walking.
walking,
Go for a walk.
crashing into each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds kind of fun.
We'll go maybe. I like food.
I like
I usually eat 3 times a day. Sometimes more.
Sometimes
Same.
more.
I love food.
Yeah.
And, I'm stalking you on Instagram. You eat a lot of food.
I don't post on Instagram. You're crazy.
Right. Okay, you're so Gen Z.
I just repost what other people post and tag me in. I just reshare stories. I don't do any original stuff unless someone's paying me.
Right.
Few do.
Well, you guys, thank you for being here and answering all the assumptions. I can't wait to see you guys on the streets.
Oh yeah.
And
We kind of split the duties now. And if he
Right.
ate me, there'd be no me to do the things he doesn't want to do.
Right. Okay.
And vice versa. That's why I'm not eating him.
yeah.
People assume I can't eat him. I can eat him.
You could eat me.
He'd be more delicious than me.
I would be delicious.
Yeah.
Slow cook that guy.
Yeah.
Fall right off the bone.
You fry me too.